Hey there, Algebra 2. We are in Chapter 3, Lesson 3.5, but we're starting at Example 4 because you should already have Lesson 3.5 for examples 1 through 3. So what I did not include yet was this little snippet of notes, okay? So this is important. It says translations of radical functions. The procedure for graphing functions of the form y equals a times the square root of x minus h n square root plus k, and y equals a cubed root of x minus h n cubed root plus k is described below. So to graph the square root one or the cubed root one, follow these steps. First, just graph the parent function, which is the a times the square root of x or cubed root of x, and then we translate it horizontally h units or vertically k units, okay, just like with the other functions we've been working with. All right, so if I start with, now I'm into my example, if I start with this example, what I want to graph first is y equals -2 square root of x. And then I'm going to move it, if it's -3, I'm going to move it right 3 units and up 2 units. All right, so let's look at it. First, we see the very base function right there. All right, we know it goes through the origin. If I do x and y, 0, 0, if I plug in a 1, I get a -2, and then my curve goes on from there. I plot those 2 points, and then I can just sketch my curve. And then I know I want to translate it. We're going to do a highlighter. Right 3, that's a really thick highlighter, and up 2. All right, and that's really all we're doing. But we do want to state the domain and the range, where the domain is the input. So that's everything that we can plug in to this value. And I know that underneath my radical, I have x minus 3. That has to be greater than or equal to 0. So if I add 3 to both sides, x has to be greater than or equal to 3. Okay, so that's my input. And it's really important. It has to be a positive underneath the radical. So really, I need this to be greater than or equal to 0 because greater than or equal to 0 means positive. Okay, and then the range is the output. And if we just look at the graph, our y is less than or equal to 2. Okay, and we can just see that from the graph. Cool. All right, let's try the next thing. Oh, extra paper. Moving on. All right, let's try a cubed root. Okay, so first we're going to graph y equals 3 and then the cubed root of x. If I just set up a very basic table, I'm going to plug in 0 and get 0. And then I'm going to plug in 1 and I get the cubed root of 1 is 1 times 3 is 3. So we can start there. I can do a -1 when it's a cubed root, which is important. And if I plug in a -1 for there, I get out a -1 times 3 is -3. So if I plot those points with my base function, I'm plotting them there, there, and there. And then we have to deal with those. So the +4 means I'm moving left 4. And the -1 means I'm moving down 1. So take that base function. I wonder if I can make that highlighter smaller. Oh, I can. A little bit. All right, so we are moving left 4 and down 1. And we get our 3 points. And then we can graph them. Okay, not too bad. Your graphs certainly don't have to be perfect. I'm generally looking for the 3 points that are easiest to graph, and with a square root, I'd be looking for the 2 points that are easiest to graph. The domain and range, input, I can input everything, okay? So I can do all real numbers. What I can do a symbol like that. And then my range, if I put in everything, I can actually get everything out. So I can get, my answer is all real numbers again, which my symbol looks like that, okay? All right, and then we just have some guided practice, just 2 problems. I'm gonna write out the answers though. The graph you can see below. My domain is going to be everything greater than 0. Because I don't move left or right. And my range is going to be everything less than or equal to 2. Remember, you can always open up some Desmos and check out your graphs, okay? I love to see your work on paper when you're showing me that you understand things, okay? So I need to know if you can interpret Desmos on paper, but I need to see work on paper to make sure you understand. My graph is over here. It looks like I have translated it left 1, which we see right there, and I didn't go anywhere up or down. My domain is greater than or equal to -1, and my range is going to be greater than or equal to 0. Okay, here I'm moving right 3 and down 1. So my domain is going to be greater than or equal to 3, and my range is going to be greater than or equal to -1. And we can see that just from the graph. So all the x values greater than or equal to 3, and then all the y values greater than or equal to 1. Okay, we have a cubed root. So my domain is going to be all real numbers, and my range is also going to be all real numbers. And another cubed root, those are going to be the easy ones for domain and range. And last but certainly not least, another cubed root. You see the graph there. Cool. All right, there's always a daily homework quiz, but I usually leave these in here. I can always use those questions for little quizzes to make sure you guys understand things. And last but not least. All right, good work. That's all for today.